Yo, what is going on, football friends? NFL Addict here. Today we have another off-season review. Before I get into this video at all, I just want to say thank you so much for the love you showed on the last video, the Las Vegas Raiders off-season review. Guys, I asked for 10 likes on that video. I was hoping to get that video to 10 likes, and that video ended up getting over 150 likes and currently has over 2,100 views. I cannot thank you enough. Guys, let's start off. Let's try to get this video to 20 likes. Also, if you're a fan of the Denver Broncos, if you're a fan of the previous video, the Las Vegas Raiders, if you're a fan of any team in the NFL, please subscribe to this channel. Please like this video if you are enjoying this content. We have so much more coming, roster reviews, division breakdowns, predictions, all that good stuff. So please subscribe to the channel. Guys, let's make this a community for all NFL fans to actually have intelligent football conversations and not just come in here and spew off bullshit. Now that my rant is over, guys, we'll get into these free agent additions that you've been seeing on the screen. Via trade, the Broncos were able to acquire Jurrell Casey, the excellent interior defensive lineman coming over from Tennessee. What people don't realize about Jurrell Casey is that he's still playing at a super high level here late in his career. Not only is he an absolute beast in the run game in terms of eating up blocks and making stops and tackles for loss in the run game, he is also still an above average pass rusher from that interior defensive line spot. Last year, he had 42 pressures and 8 sacks at this point in his career. Those are excellent numbers. He's going to come in here, he's going to take on doubles, and he's going to free up Bradley Chubb and Von Miller on the outside, which on a side note, I do think Bradley Chubb is in for his best season coming up here in 2020. Moving right on, AJ Boye also acquired via trade, corner coming over from Jacksonville. Didn't have a great year last year, but I don't think anybody on the Jacksonville defense did. I don't think they were playing for anything. I don't think they were playing for anyone. I just think he kind of took the season off along with the rest of those guys. 2016, 2017, 2018, he was one of the top corners in the league. I'd say in 2016 and 2017, he was probably a top 3 corner in the league. 2018 took a little step back, and like we said, 2019 kind of throw that year away. I think he's an upgrade over Chris Harris on the outside. Just because Chris Harris played on the outside last year, he is a excellent slot corner, but he was not great on the outside. AJ Boye upgrade at the cornerback position. Moving on here, the Broncos are 3 for 3 here with Graham Glasgow. Excellent guard coming over from Detroit. Good run blocker, good pass blocker. Your offensive line has to be at least average to compete in the NFL. They were already average last year. They're adding Graham Glasgow, really good guard to that group. Not much to say about this signing other than he's a really good player, really good addition for the Broncos. Jeff Driscoll, also not much to say about. He'll come in here. He will compete for a backup quarterback position. I thought he had a decent week in week 11 last year when he started against the Cowboys, but in his other 2 starts, he was not very good. Again, not much to say about that one. He'll compete for the backup spot. Nick Vannett, also not much to say about. I don't even think he makes the team. There's not really anything he does particularly well, and the Broncos have been drafting a lot of tight ends recently, and they even drafted one this year who we'll talk about later. But yeah, not much to say about Nick Vannett. I don't think he does anything well, and I don't think he makes the team. Melvin Gordon, who solidified himself in 2016, 2017, and 2018 as one of the top running backs in terms of both running and catching screen passes out of the backfield. But in 2019, obviously, you guys know what happened with the holdout and everything. Now he signs with the Denver Broncos on a relatively cheap deal. Gonna probably split carries here with Phillip Lindsay. Guys, let me know what you think about this one in the comments. I've seen Broncos fans are kind of split on this signing. I am as well. I'm kind of torn by it. I think you don't really want to take carries away from Lindsay, but at the same time, Melvin Gordon is young. He is a good player. I just think that if they were going to take that money, they should have maybe allocated it elsewhere. Let me know what you guys think about this one. I'm kind of torn on this. Either way, you're getting a good player. But again, the running back position doesn't necessarily move the needle for any team. But when you talk about the other additions that they made in the draft, which we'll talk about, I mean, upgrading the running back position, not a bad idea. Sam Martin, he's a punter. I don't really have much to say. Kind of an average punter, been his whole career. Let's get into the draft picks. All right, guys, the Broncos had quite a few draft picks here. We're going to go through every single one of them and tell you what I think about them, and I want to know what you guys think about them in the comments, so please comment on this video. Let me know. With the 15th overall pick, they were lucky enough to have Jerry Jeudy fall to them. Good for them for sitting tight at number 15 and then getting the player they wanted. Jerry Jeudy has absolutely elite deep speed. He is really good at getting off press coverage on the line of scrimmage. He knows how to manipulate defensive backs. He knows how to manipulate leverage. He's deadly in the open field. I know you guys have watched a ton of highlights of him in the open field, making defenders miss. He's a natural hands catcher. He's not like Amari Cooper, who came out of Alabama. He is a very good hands catcher. And lastly, he is really good at the catch point, despite not being, physically imposing. Now, some negatives about him. Although I said he is good at getting off press coverage, he rarely faced it at Alabama. Another thing, he mainly worked out of the slot at Alabama. I don't think he's going to be doing too much work out of his slot in Denver, because the next guy we'll talk about, KJ Hamler, I think he's going to take over kind of that slot role. So we'll see, but he's going to have to learn to get better on the outside. He's going to have to learn to go up against press coverage every single snap. Overall, I really like this pick. I don't have many negatives to say about it. Jerry Jeudy is probably going to be a top receiver in the NFL. He's going to give Drew Lock a nice weapon here. And, the best thing you can ask for a young quarterback is a guy that consistently gets open and gets separation. Jerry Jeudy is that guy, probably the best pick that they could have made. As we said, in the second round, they decided to go with the speedy KJ Hamler out of Penn State. This dude is explosive, one of the quickest players off the line of scrimmage you're probably going to see in this league. He's a really good route runner from the slot and a really good separator with his speed. This guy in the open field, like Jerry Jeudy, really, really good. He knows how to find space. Also really good in the underneath routes and is always a threat to take it to the house. Getting into some negatives about KJ Hamler, his hands were not good. Last year he had 12 drops on 70 targets, not great. Or 70 catchable passes, sorry, not 70 targets. 12 drops on 70 catchable passes. That is not good. That is actually really bad. That is something he is definitely going to have to work on this offseason. Not great at breaking tackles because of how small he is. And lastly, the last negative, he's not great at tracking the ball on deep balls. He can kind of lose track of it. Overall, again, I really like this pick. If we were grading them on just these two picks so far, A+ from me. Really good first and second round. In the third round, they went with Michael Ojemudia, the cornerback out of Iowa. The people say he's a zone corner because he wasn't asked to do a whole lot else at Iowa. That's fine for Vic Fangio's system. You can be a zone corner. He runs a lot of zone coverage. I think he's a really good fit here. He does have the physical tools to be a press corner. He just wasn't asked to do it. So we haven't seen much from him other than being a zone corner, but that's really all he needs to be here in Denver is a zone corner. I like this pick. I think he's a really, really good scheme fit. I don't have much negative to say about the guy. I actually was super high on him coming out, so I think this is one of the best picks in the draft, just in my opinion. I love this dude. Lloyd Cushenberry, the center out of LSU, not sure what position he's going to play here or whether he'll start, but he is a really good run blocker. He needs to work on his pass blocking. Just in general, lack of agility from the center position, not something you typically see in the NFL. But again, a mauler in the run game, just needs to work on that pass blocking a little bit. I like the pick. I just think he's a developmental player, and I actually think the guy they got in the 6th round is a much better player than Cushenberry. The third round pick, they got McTelvin Agim, the defensive tackle out of Arkansas. This is a dude that was way better at games like the Senior Bowl than he was during his time at Arkansas. This dude actually absolutely dominated when the scouts came to watch. Has a huge arsenal of pass rush moves. He just has a lack of physicality in the run game. In the NFL, I think it's way more important to be good against the pass, especially with how much teams are passing. And in this division, I like to pick a guy that can pass rush from the interior. Again, negatives about him, not physical in the run game, and just should have had more production for how good he was during those big Senior Bowl games and things like that when the scouts came to watch. But overall, I really like the pick. He's going to give them a nice pass rushing option from the inside. As I know I've been saying that I like every pick, but I mean, they've just been doing a great job of drafting. You can't hate on it. Another really good pick here, the very fast tight end out of Missouri. I'm not even going to attempt to say his name. But again, they are adding speed around Drew Lock. They want to keep up with that arms race going on. The Raiders added a ton of speed. The Chiefs are already fast. And now the Broncos adding all this speed to their team. I love this pick. If I had to say negatives about him, I don't know, like his position. I know he's listed as a tight end. He's not quite good enough to play in the slot, and he's not a great run blocker as a tight end, so that's really the only knock I have on him. He's going to be great after the catch. I mean, this is a good pick, but again, if I had to knock him, it's just kind of that, where do you play him? Justin Schnatt, that outside linebacker out of Wake Forest. This guy has the physical tools to play the edge in a 3-4 or play a stand-up linebacker in a 4-3. Obviously, coming here to Denver, they're probably going to have him play on the edge. Dude's super twitchy. He's a good athlete. This is the type of guy you take a shot on here in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. He offers the ability to drop into coverage from the edge position in a 3-4, which I really like in 3-4 outside linebackers. He's a little undersized. He's not great in the run game, and he doesn't have a super good processor in terms of recognizing plays. But guys, it's the 5th round. This is the type of athlete you take a shot on. 6th round, Muti, the offensive guard, Fresno State. This is the pick I was talking about that I actually like better than Lloyd Cushenberry. I thought this guy had potential to sneak into the end of the 1st round. Shows you how much I know. Here we are at pick 181, and he finally comes off the board. Dude is an absolute freak in the run game. He will be pancaking dudes all day. He is also really good in pass protection. He's nasty in the run game, as I said. I love this pick. Never going to be a dude that loses his leverage. Never going to be a guy that gets moved off his spot. He has insane strength. This dude, to me, best guard in the draft. Again, nasty in the run game, really good in the pass game. If I had to say some negatives about him, he did have season-ending injuries 2 years in a row. That is something to be concerned about, and again, might be a reason for the slide, but I don't understand the slide all the way to the 6th round. In the 7th round, they went with Tyree Cleveland, the wide receiver out of Florida. To me, this guy is going to be their gunner on special teams. He has good speed, and he was a good gunner in college. A big target, a guy that can body corners, but in my opinion, he didn't use his size well enough to his advantage. I think that's why he is here in the 7th round, just a developmental wide receiver here, but a guy that's going to start on special teams, so, I mean, good pickup. Tuska, the linebacker out of North Dakota State, actually an edge player. I mean, 29.5 sacks over the course of his career, so you know he was a good pass rusher. He's also good at getting his hands up and batting down passes when he gets beat in pass protection. Uses his hands really nicely, especially for a guy that fell all the way to the 7th round. If I had to say any negatives, first of all, it's going to be a huge jump in competition coming from North Dakota State to the NFL. Doesn't have good length for an edge rusher. But I mean, we'll see what happens. I think he's going to make the team. I think all these guys are going to make the team, even Cleveland, because of his ability to be a gunner on special teams. As I give the Denver Broncos offseason an A for the additions that they made. I just gave the Raiders an A-, so there's a lot of competition going on in that division, although I think it is a race for second place to the Chiefs, unfortunately for the teams in this division. When you talk about the speed that they were able to add and then the targets for Drew Lock, that's really what you want to add around a young quarterback. Give him as many weapons as you can. Although I said I wasn't super high and I was kind of torn on Melvin Gordon, you give him Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay in the backfield. You got Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton on the outside. You have KJ Hamler coming in to play that slot position. They added nice pieces on defense with Jarrell Casey and AJ Boye, and also the corner they drafted 3rd round. I don't want to butcher his name right now, but I mean, just, you know, nice pieces added to this team. They obviously got a lot better, and I think they have a chance to make the playoffs this year. So again, an A offseason for me. Anytime you can take a team from, 7-9 to a potential playoff contender, I mean, I have to give this an A. You're still with me, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please give it a like if you liked it. I have so much more content coming, as I said at the beginning of the video, so please consider subscribing to the channel. As always, guys, this was NFL Addict. I'll see you guys in the next one.